Welcome to the Krista Escamilla Show.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Krista Escamilla Show. Thank you for being here. Thanks for coming back. And thank you for supporting our show by sharing with your friends and family and loved ones. We appreciate you. I'm so excited about today's show because I get to sit and visit with a friend of mine and an amazing educator in our community, Dr. Jennifer Seybert. She is the principal at Midland High School. Thanks so much, Jennifer, for being here. This is a fun time because I've interviewed you in the past at different stages of your career, but now I get to interview you as the principal of Midland High School. This is amazing.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about how you got to this, because we want to start from the beginning for anyone that maybe is just meeting you for the first time. So how did you get into education, and tell us about your journey?
Well, I am born and raised in West Texas. I grew up in Odessa. I graduated high school from Odessa High School, so I'm a lifetime West Texan.
And a Bronco.
A Bronco. I always joke that we lived closer to the Dairy Queen in Monahans than the Dairy Queen in town in Odessa. So grew up in West Texas. I left for college with one plan, and midway through, I decided that I wanted to try education. And so,
what was the first plan?
So I was thinking accounting, family business,
okay,
or physical therapy. But once I realized how long physical therapy school was, which is funny now that I have gone to school probably longer than a physical therapist. So I tried education, and I started off as a math teacher.
Okay.
And a coach. And so really, my first job was in Ector County, and I was a math teacher coach. And so I did that for a couple of years. I moved over to Midland ISD and taught math again. And then I just really felt a calling to do something more, like wanted a bigger impact on education in West Texas. So I went back to school and got my master's degree, went into administration, served in math curriculum, really thought that if I just fixed all the math problems in the world, everything else would be good. But I really missed campus life. And so I went back to be an assistant principal at Permian High School. And that was really my first principal gig. I learned so much. I always say that Roy Garcia, who was the principal at Permian at the time, really taught me everything that I currently know and do now in leadership.
I love
that. So I did
that
that for a couple of years, and I loved the high school. I love the spirit of a high school, and I mean, it's fun, and the kids can see the light at the end of the tunnel and getting kids to graduation. And then I applied for principal's jobs, thought I can do this on my own. And I applied for a secondary principal job and ended up as an elementary principal. So not working in an elementary, I was the principal of Washington, math, science. We were a magnet at the time in Midland ISD. And I just laughed because I had only walked into the elementary. My kids had gone too, and now they wanted me to lead an elementary. But I absolutely loved it. We had pre-K through 6th grade. I did that for a couple of years. And I just really wanted to get back to secondary. And so I spent some time, I opened UTPB STEM Academy, which is a university charter. And then I moved on to Abell Junior High. And I loved Abell so much. I've really loved all of the places, and it's just the people that I've met along the way that have really shaped me, and just the parents and the families. But my end goal was always to get back to a comprehensive high school. I loved my time at Permian and thought someday I'm going to get back to Permian, or I'm going to get back to another comprehensive high school. Right. I had a couple of twists and turns. I opened Young Women's Leadership Academy, which is amazing. It's going strong. It's amazing. I love the people, the girls there. But last year, Midland High came open, and I just felt like that was the place for me. And so
felt you were being called there.
Yeah, last summer I joked that I was minding my own business on vacation in Hawaii for my son's senior trip, and I got the phone call that was the job for me. And so I really haven't looked back. I'm all in on purple, and really that's my personality, is just all in.
Well, and I've seen you in many of your different roles, from Abell. I think I interviewed you there one time, and then over to the Women's Leadership Academy, and then now, and I feel like you are all in wherever you're at, and you can feel the energy when you're all in. because all of your teachers.
I totally agree. I like our team, and I just want them to see I'm willing. I'm all in. I am all about making Midland ISD better, specifically Midland High, and what can we do together. And so,
Love it.
yeah, I always joke, follow me on social media because you'll see everything we get to do, and I might be a little over the top, but I love your what posts. We're doing, and I love. I love the difference we're making in Midland.
Well, I love your post because it really makes us all feel connected to what you are doing at Midland High. And I want to talk a little bit more about that first, but I want to talk about the journey along the way because you were in elementary, you were in, the assistant principal role and then principal role. What did you learn the most from being able to see education on all the levels?
I feel like I'm one of the few people that has been able to see all the levels just because most people go into education with a specific niche. So I was a high school math teacher. I really thought I would only spend time at a high school, and then just moving around. The best part, the most exciting part was the third graders that I had at Washington 10 years ago, I handed them their diploma this year at Midland High.
Oh, how wonderful.
And so being able to see them grow from babies, not knowing what they wanted to do, not knowing their place in the world, to now they're headed to college, they're headed to career, they're headed to military, and just having a place in their life along the way.
How fun is that?
I know, it was really so
what a full circle moment.
Yes. So the kindergartners I had at Washington will be sophomores this year, so I have a few more years of getting that experience. But I just the kindergarten teachers in the community that teach kids to read, to the calculus teachers getting kids to be successful on AP exams. I mean, it takes everyone. And so I've gotten a front row seat to all of that. And so it's been so fun.
Well, thank you for what you've done in our community, because to me, there's nothing better than educating a child. You are educating our future. And that is such an important role that I know you do not take lightly. You are like, this is it. Education is it.
Yes.
Let's talk about your priorities going into the new school year and maybe some of the things that you implemented last year that have been some positive changes.
So, Midland High we're trying to make Midland High be a premier high school, not only in West Texas, but in Texas. And so we have some growing to do academically, athletically, but we have so many bright spots that we're really trying to play on, and just we're successful in these areas, but how can we make our other areas better? So, for example, we're really great in fine arts. We sent our one-act play to state this year. Yes. So how are we able to be so successful in certain areas, and what can we learn from those people on our team? Because we have so many great people on our team, and just learning from each other and really building community. A comprehensive 6A high school. We have 205 employees, wow. 2,400 students. And so how can we work together? And so starting year 2, we have a solid team. We have a solid team of teachers, a solid admin team. We're just looking to build on our strengths and improve all programs. So when a student graduates from Midland High, they can say that, one, they know what they want to do next, and that we've prepared them along the way K-12. So many of our students in Midland are in Midland ISD from pre-K all the way through 12th grade. And so being able to send them off ready is what our goal is.
And I think that's a good goal, because to be prepared, and that's of course it's the Girl Scout way, but it's also, I mean, that is the job of education, to prepare for the next level, and then once in college, prepare for the workforce. And I know that you are giving all the tools to do that for your students and teachers, but I know that the community can help, because that's what, we are, I truly believe we are one of the best communities in the world.
I know. I think everyone is very kind here, helpful,
and wants to give back. And I know that right now you have a crowdfunding going on to help in one of those avenues that you're trying to improve at the school. Tell us a little bit about that and how we can all help.
So one of the things a lot of people don't know about Midland High is that we're landlocked. And so a lot of our facilities that our students go to day in and day out aren't at Midland High. And so what can we do to bring some of those facilities to to Midland High, so they're not busing to Memorial or Boneyard, different places. And so one of those things, we're currently crowdfunding for a turf field at Midland High. So right now our band doesn't really have a great practice facility. We would love to have our off-season programs and be able to host different things at Midland High so that we can make sure that instructional time isn't lost. So every time a student has to leave Midland High for another class, another event, that's time that they're missing in classroom. So missing math instruction, whatever it is. So how can we keep those kids at Midland High longer? And so if anyone's interested in our crowdfunding, it is linked on our website. So Midland ISD's website, go to Midland High, and it is at the top of our page. We have raised over $600,000 for our new turf field, and we need about $800,000. So we are getting so close. We can see it. And so we have students helping, staff helping, and it's just one of the things that we think we can do to alleviate just some lost time that kids have at Midland High.
Well, that's fantastic. I look forward to you reaching your goal, and I know you're going to do it, and hopefully some of you can help out with that. That would be fantastic. What is your goal for every student that steps onto campus this year? What do you hope that every student comes away at the end of the day with?
So personally, safety is my biggest thing. I want students, when they come to Midland High, to feel safe and secure. And more than, yes, locked doors and making sure that personally they're safe, but that also they have a trusted adult that they can talk to, teachers that care about them. I love joy and being joyous. And so I want people to leave with a feeling of happiness that they accomplished something and they didn't just waste time that day. We have some of the greatest teachers that engage our students so well. And so I think that if you ask the students when they leave Midland High from the first weeks of school, August and September, then I feel like they will say that they feel the joy, they feel happy, they feel safe at Midland High.
Good. I love that. And that's why we get along so well. I am a fellow joy wanter for everybody. I think everybody.
I'm like sunshines and rainbows.
Exactly.
All
Me
the time.
too. Which
Yes.
I know it can't always be, but I want it to be. and I want you to find the good in everything, even when there is a rain storm, right? There's always the rainbow after, and there's something beautiful that comes out of it. And so you have to find it.
Schools and leading school districts, even we deal with delicate topics every day and people that are going through hard times. And so using that to learn and grow and help and find the joy in every situation it's hard, but if you don't, the job could kill
harder.
you.
Yes, it's even harder. What is your goal for every teacher that that walks on to campus? What do you hope that they achieve at the end of the day?
Goodness, teaching is hard.
It is
right
hard.
Now.
It's the hard. It is a hard job.
Teaching has changed. It was already changing, and then the pandemic hit, and we have expected so much of our teachers. So I am so hopeful that we are starting a normal-ish school year. But I hope that the teachers find joy in their lessons and connect with their students. I think the personal connection and the relationships are most times even more important than the content. Just the human connection. So many of our students come to school, and school is the safest place, the happiest place that they are. And so I want teachers to realize that they're helping with that. They're helping be the safest, best place for students to come every day.
That they're making a huge impact because you are. Teachers
I say all the time, I cannot do their job. It is truly amazing what teachers are having to do, competing with social media and technology and just all of the social issues that are in the world today.
It's true.
The teachers
it's tough because there's that instant gratification that social media gives people. And you and I both know when you're teaching a lesson and you're listening, it's not like you're just going to get to the point right then, right? It's not like you go, okay, did you learn it? Is that it? We can move on. No, you have to teach it and you have to talk about it and you have to go through the process. And it's not an instant gratification.
As high school content gets more and more complex, the older the students get, it is so far from instant gratification. So
Well, good. Well, I wish those for both the students
Yes, me
and
too.
for your teachers this year. It is time for what we call quote of the day, Jennifer.
Okay.
And so I can't wait to see which quote you pull out today. So just go ahead and see
grab
what you
one.
get there. You got the happy card. I love that.
There is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path.
I
Buddha.
love it. Yes.
I do love that.
What does that mean to
There
you?
is no, in life, we all have hard times, struggles. I'm a mom. I have a hard job, but I choose to be happy every day and just enjoy the moment, whether it's tough times or not. And I encourage other people to look at the sunshine and rainbows as well.
I love that. Let's talk about your favorite quote, because I know, as an educator, there's probably so many different ways you could go with this, but do you have a favorite quote you live by?
Well, so just as a mom, and so a mom of athletes, I always tell my kids, we may not be the most talented athletes. We may not be the smartest people at the table, but we're definitely willing to outwork people. And so if you, so Ben Hogan, so golfer,
Yes.
If you can't outplay them, outwork them. And so we live by that in our household. And every single day.
And it shows. I think your children are amazing,
Thank you.
but they're also very talented and very smart. They
work hard for what they have.
And good humans. I was telling you before we even sat down at Davis, because I've had more communication with Davis and seen him as a teammate of our children through the years with golf and every other sport. He played football, he played basketball his senior year, I believe. And he's such a great teammate and friend. And even if he's not playing in the sport, he goes out and supports them and he encourages them. And I just want to say job well done, Mom, because we know you're doing a great job as an educator, but I know the mom is the number one role, right, in all of our lives.
And I always say too, I really feel like some days I'm the mom. I'm helping parent 2,400 children. Who's over here raising my children? Because it's so busy. But at the end of the day, and I tell parents this all the time, yes, grades are important, but it's not the end all be all.
Right.
How good of a human is your child? And that's I feel like my both of my children are good humans.
They
and
are,
that's
for
really,
sure.
Really all I care about.
They get an A+++++.
Yes. They will outwork you. Same with you. I mean, that's the goal.
That's the goal. That is the goal. And, talking about that, being a working mom, let's talk about the challenges. What has been the biggest challenge for you being a working mom through the years? Because you from the outside in, you manage both beautifully.
Thank you.
What has been the biggest challenge?
Well, I think so. Both of my children have grown up in whatever school I'm a part of. And so we're all in purple side of town right now.
Go Dogs.
They both are going to be wearing their Midland High stuff. I joke all the time because Davis loves coming to Midland High. Griffin is part of a Midland High feeder program, playing volleyball and cheerleading. And so they just also enjoy the parts of being at a school and being part of it. But it's hard because we work long hours. And so there's, football Friday nights. It's not just the football coaches that are working. It's the staff, the admin team, the police officers. And so there's nights that we're not home until really late. And so juggling that sometimes it's hard, but it's really making a priority, turning off the phones on Sundays, making time to still eat together and be together. And really, when I was at Permian, Davis was 7, Griffin was 2, and so I would literally be carrying her around also trying to run a school or working at night school or whatever it is. So it hasn't been easy, but I also think they've learned so much from the things that they've seen. I used to tell them that they were born and raised in a bubble because they've always had everything that they've always needed. But being part of a school, they get to see so many other things and how different people in our community live, which is much different than the way they live. And so learning from that.
I love that. What advice would you give to a working mom that is trying to balance it all?
You can never do it all. And really, once you realize that, like I realize that I'm not a perfect teacher, school principal. I'm also not a perfect mom, but acknowledging that and doing my best. I think kids just want their parents to be at things and show up. And so I show up, but I also sometimes can't, and it's okay because they know that I'm doing my best. So working moms, keep on keeping on, because
Yes.
it's hard.
And it's the most important job that, yes, for sure. And dads too. I mean, it's,
Well, yeah, and
it takes a village, and
oh my
I love I see your village all the time at golf tournaments. You have a great village.
I have, our family is unique, and it is a village, but I used to just tell my kids that we're going to make time for each other, and we're going to value that time. And sometimes it's not all of the time.
Right.
But let's value the time we have together. And then also all of the people that have been in their lives to help them along the way.
Shout out to all the village,
Yes,
in your family, because it really is important to have those people that are there supporting and encouraging and lifting up. Let's talk a little bit about Midland High and some of the things that you would like to see happen in the next year or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. What is your long-term vision and goal as because you're now in year 2, correct? Is that
yes.
right? So going into that year 2, what do you see that you would like for the future?
So it's very important to us to build our feeder pattern, and so making sure that we're all in elementaries, Goddard, SJ, Midland Freshman, Midland High, that we all have the same vision and the same goal. When we're one team, and then capitalizing on the things that we've already started, and making all of our programs better. And so I am challenging my staff to have passion every day for what you do. And so if you talk to different people at Midland High, you'll see the passion that they have for the students on our campus. And so I want that to continue to build in all of our programs, from academics to athletics, fine arts. And it's really inspiring to watch so many of the people there, but really hoping that catches on throughout our entire feeder pattern. We were talking earlier to Coach Fortune about, he, as the head football coach, is as important to our programs as the 7th grade B team football coach. And so recognizing that in educating all of these students in Midland ISD, everybody has an equal important role. And so just everyone acknowledging their piece of the puzzle and all working positively to making it all better.
I love that.
I
Gotta
know.
work
It's
together.
hard. Yes.
It is hard,
It's
but
hard.
but the outcome is so worth it.
It is so worth it.
When you see all the moving parts, when you see them all come together and work for that common goal, the outcome is worth it. It's going to be hard work, but it's going to be worth it.
And we are not scared of hard work.
I know you're not.
For sure.
That is for sure. Okay, it's time for question of the day. Let's see which card you pull out.
Okay. Ooh, caring.
Oh, I love that for you. That is so true.
What is the nicest thing someone has done for me?
Oh, good question.
I think that every day, so when I went to Midland High, I didn't know, which is so unusual, I didn't know a single person really, because I'd really been more maroon feeder, elementary, and so the unusual thing is that I did know Christine Foreman. And so Christine was my PTA president when I was at Washington.
Who is amazing.
Yeah. So
just want to throw that out there. Amazing. Hi, Christine.
My favorite
So good.
PTA president, my first year as a principal. So she's basically saved me because I'd never worked in elementary and I had no idea what I was doing. And she's my PTA president. So come full circle, and 10 years later, she's now my PTA president at Midland High. And
goodness.
She has really changed my life this year in that she helps me stay focused, but she also checks in on me. So I think over the course of this year, and really over the past 10 years of my career, I can say the nicest thing is when Christine Foreman just shows up and changes my whole day.
I love that, and I know it is so true because she is passionate about our community and education just like you are. And so I can imagine the two of you together.
Just giving up her time.
That's awesome.
To make us better. And she has dumped all of her energy into Midland High this year. And to do it for free and just because she wants to help make us better. So
is incredible.
Yes,
So
shout out to her for
shout out Christine Foreman. You are awesome, and really
you
our
need
community.
to have her on this show.
I do need to have her. I've interviewed her, of course, through the
Yes.
years in different capacities, and you're right. She needs to sit down. So Christine, here's your invite. Invite right now. Come on.
Talk about like the most amazing parent as well.
Yes.
All the parenting tips she has.
She's so beautiful about the way she does it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like she can give you a piece of advice and not even know she's giving you a piece of advice, but you just go, wow, you just dropped the most important nugget of information I've heard all day. You know? And she's just so sweet. So yes, I love that. I want to know some of the people that have poured into you in your life as an educator, and what they taught you and how you now implement that into your life. Because I'm sure you had mentors through the years that made a difference.
Gosh, yes. So just early on in my career, so my mom was an elementary teacher, so just learning and watching from her. And then some of my first principals as a teacher. You know, being a first-year teacher is so difficult. So really having those people, Martha Mitchell, who was a long-time gymnastics coach at Permian and then was a principal, really taught me so much about leadership. And then when I finally got to Permian High School, just what I learned from Roy Garcia, Greg Nelson, just really great leaders in our community.
Was it anything in particular they said or did?
I think our jobs are just incredibly stressful and hard sometimes, but carrying yourself with confidence, staying calm in a crisis, especially we're at this heightened sense of urgency to keep everyone safe right now at schools. And so if anything happens, not to panic. And so I feel like I just learned so much of just staying calm, cool, and collected, making the decisions, not being scared to make the decisions. I've learned so much this year from Thad Fortune. He is wise beyond his years, and just some of the things he says about making decisions and being confident in making decisions. I opened at UTPB STEM Academy with a professor at UTPB, Kevin Badgett. So he teaches in the Ed Leadership program. And so just I don't know, all of these people along the way. I really think when I get to a new destination, how did I live without these people? So my current associate principal, we've never worked together before. I met him this year, and I'm like, how have I run a school without him?
Right.
And just
because he brings so many skills.
And he brings so much to the team. It's just so many people along the way. But gosh, so many valuable lessons also from parents of students and students themselves have taught me so much along the way too, of just not forgetting the people aspect. At the end of the day, we're making decisions that could impact people's futures. And so making sure we're making good decisions about, and I say it all the time, I don't want to make bad decisions that could impact someone's life. And so gosh, just kids giving me feedback. And it's really interesting in high school. They give you a lot of feedback, those kids.
I bet they do. They are so honest.
They swing by my office and tell me lots of things.
Have you taken, and do you have an instance where a student brought something to your attention and you were like, you know what, you're right, we need to make that change? Like, have you had those moments?
And then they have also pitched some ideas that I'm like, that's never going to happen.
That's not happening ever.
Good idea, but we're not going to do a 2-hour lunch.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. No, there's a reason why it's a little bit shorter than that.
We're starting school at 10 a.m. because teens sleep in, and just all of these things. No.
That's funny. What advice would you give to a first-year teacher? You know, you've been in the teaching role, you've been in the principal role, and we have teachers out there that maybe are new, maybe in their first couple of years. What advice would you give to them to help them achieve the most success in the classroom?
I think first persistence, because the first few months of school are hard. There's a lot of change in schools. Kids are coming in and out as students enroll. So first year teachers tend to get discouraged early on. So don't get discouraged. Also find someone that you enjoy being around, because we're at schools oftentimes more than you are at home. And so find that colleague that you enjoy and you can share things with and you can bounce ideas off of. And then ask for help. So many people don't ask for help. I still ask my boss for help and ideas. And so just don't give up, ask for help, and find that one person that you can trust and be friendly with. You don't have to be friends, but be friendly with at school. It is exciting. We kicked off new teacher orientation this week in Midland ISD. Ooh. And so seeing, that 100 brand new teachers to Midland ISD, and they come with this passion and light to change the world and make that difference. Don't let that light dim, because the kids we have in our community need us right now.
That's good advice. Yeah. I always say never let anyone steal your joy, or don't let someone dull your sparkle, because, sometimes as the days get long, right, you can feel that, but you gotta remember why you're doing it. I think that's so important, to always remember your why in anything. It's time for our favorite things. So, you ready?
Yes.
Favorite book?
So my new favorite book is called Ruthless Equity.
I haven't heard of that. I'm going to write that one down.
It's really good.
Okay.
And it's an education book, so probably some people wouldn't be interested, but it's about looking at each student, like starting with the crown. Like every student has a crown, and holding them to those expectations, but making sure that we remain equitable in schools. And so it's easy to sometimes not even realize that we're not having equal practices. And so it's one of my things that I'm working on this year. And
Love it.
Ruthless Equity, it's amazing.
Okay, all educators need to read that one.
Yes.
That is fantastic. Favorite teacher that impacted your life?
Favorite teacher. Okay, Phyllis George, second grade.
Oh.
And she is still the most amazing person and a very close friend of mine. And so, like sitting in her classroom in second grade, and then us as adult friends, it's just
that's awesome. Because not everyone gets to see their second grade teacher, right? When as you're an adult and an educator.
Right.
How wonderful is that? That's fantastic.
I could probably list like 10 though.
I know. Go ahead. No kidding. No, I understand, because so many do make such an impact in your life. And so I love to ask favorite teacher, because it reminds teachers that you are someone's favorite teacher, and you are making such a big impact every single day, and they never forget that. So always remember that you're making such a big difference. Favorite movie?
Ooh, this summer, Top Gun.
Oh gosh, wasn't that good?
The original and is it Top Gun Maverick?
Top Gun 2, Maverick. I never thought a sequel could be better, or if not so right there next to it, but they managed to do it.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, I've seen it twice. It's so good.
We have to. Honestly.
Yeah. Good. I'm so glad we're not alone. Okay. Okay. Favorite. I'm going to ask you this because you are a parent of a golfer. Favorite golf course.
Oh, so, gosh, that's so hard. So, as funny as this is, I grew up playing at Sunset
in
Golf
Odessa.
And Country Club in Odessa, and that was where we got our first start. Albert got his first start. Davis got his first start, and so really going back to that, and back in the day, it's $190 rent. Teachers made $20,000 a year. Just a totally different time.
Yes.
And so going back to those moments, it's not in great shape, and it's not the best.
But it brings back the happy memories. I love that. And I think that's important. It doesn't have to be Pebble, but if it is Pebble, that's okay. We understand if Pebble is your favorite golf course.
We have played some great golf courses.
But I love that it's about the memories and the feeling that you get when you are there, and that the memories that were created there. I love that.
And it looks the same.
I know.
30 years later.
It does.
I still love
that little par 3, that is really cool.
Yeah.
That is great. I mean,
it's where I learned how to play golf. So.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Favorite memory with your children?
Oh, goodness. So Davis was in kindergarten before Griffin was born. And so really the moment we didn't know that Griffin was going to be a girl. So we had picked out Griffin as going to be Griffin girl or Griffin boy, whatever we were having.
I love that. Yeah.
So the moment Davis was able to tell our whole family that Griffin was a girl and Griffin was here, and Davis holding Griffin, was probably
one of your sweetest
most.
memories.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, you are an amazing community member. You're an amazing mom. You're an amazing educator. And I just want to thank you for this time today and what you do, because I know your job is not easy. And I know that you do it because you love these kids so much. So thank you from all of us here in West Texas. We appreciate what you do. I want to ask you, is there anything coming into this interview that you were like, oh, I hope that I get that out, either about, it could be about anything. It could be about your kids. It could be about school. It could be about family. I mean, anything just that you wanted to say.
I think just being from West Texas and having the passion for making West Texas better is really what I live for day in and day out, whether it be as a mom or in my career. I just have a passion for this community.
And it shows. And
Thank
you're doing
you.
a great job. Thank you so much. What nonprofit, at the end of every show, we give away a donation on your behalf to a local nonprofit. Is there a nonprofit you'd like to highlight today?
So one of my favorite people, Andrea Jones, just left being a principal to go be the executive director of the Boys and Girls Club.
Perfect.
So
Boys
I
and Girls
am
Club.
super excited for her and the work that she's going to be doing there. So Boys and Girls Club.
Awesome. We will definitely make that donation then on your on the show's behalf for the Krista Escamilla Show, and we thank you for highlighting them today because they do amazing work, and I know she's going to do great there. That's going to be wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Jennifer Seybert. You are just rocking the education world. Keep on doing what you do. It's making a difference, and we look forward to catching up another time and see all those goals that are planted and the crowdfunding that you're all going to donate to, and how all those things are helping your students. And we wish you a wonderful school year, because we know it's going to be great because you have a great team that is there with you helping support these children. So thank you so much. And thank you all for listening today. I appreciate your time. And our sponsors, we want to thank Rig ID and Midland Cap and Cup and joincapclub.com. And also those of you who have subscribed on either Apple or Spotify or on YouTube. We really appreciate you doing so, because the more that we can get this information out into our community, the more people we can help and support some of our wonderful organizations here in West Texas. So thank you for doing that. That's it for now. Remember my mottos. It's right here. Hopefully you've been reading it along the way. Dream big, believe, and never give up. You make it a great day.